I'm at the gym the other day, and me and one of my boys get to talking. We both train jiu-jitsu, we both lift. And when you go on Instagram, what you see is a picture of reality, a picture of what works that's so distorted it barely resembles the world that I and the rest of us live in. YouTube fitness is the same way. And I think what we both wrap back around to is that there's a reason for this. You see, the things that work, the things that provide results, the things that all of us, or most of us, should be focusing on aren't sexy, aren't filmable, aren't clickable, aren't going to generate a ton of views. And in this age of quick fixes, 5-minute workouts, and trendy internet marketing, it's easy to lose track of what's important. It's easy to put the cart before the horse. The word priority becomes synonymous with aspiration, and the word goal becomes synonymous with dream. The actionability is cut out of the middle. There's no sense of order of operations. And I'm thinking about this a lot right now because I'm taking the first painful and embarrassing steps on getting into this content creation space. I hate that term. I think it kind of sounds douchey, but what we really mean is making shit. And any time you're in your first steps, the process is always going to be painful. The journey is always going to be frustrating. It's always going to take longer than you thought it would take. It's always going to be harder than you thought it was going to be. With this kind of thing especially, nobody's going to want to watch your shit. Nobody's going to see any of these videos for quite a while. It's going to take me quite a while to get good at making them. So that's probably for the best. But the point that I'm making is that we can imagine a lot of things if we were to rank them in order of importance, in order of effect size, with as a pyramid. The most important foundational skills or foundational areas, the things that if we were to focus our energy on, will provide us with, what's the number everyone bandies about, 80% of the results. Those are the foundation. That's that Maslow's hierarchy type of idea. And then if we were to layer on top of that other behaviors, other skills, they would work only because they were resting on that foundation. And that same thing would hold true as we went up the pyramid. Now, as we get up the pyramid, things get, to most of us, more and more interesting, more exotic, more advanced. Everybody knows that you're supposed to drink water, get enough sleep, do resistance training, and eat a reasonable diet. However, that is not as interesting to most of us as seeing some crazy lateral raise variation or doing 7 different types of triple banded face pulls. When you're a beginner to this game, starting to make YouTube videos, as shitty as they may be, and you're looking on the internet for information about how to record, how to start a YouTube channel, how to even just start getting the most basic things uploaded, you come across all this different information about search engine optimization and cross-platform marketing and viewer retention and click-through rates and niching down and building an audience and a personal brand. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of information about how to make the videos. There's plenty of information about the nuts, the bolts, the how-tos, and the whys. But a lot of those videos, a lot of the content that focuses on the truly basic things, I find, doesn't get nearly that same level of attention. And a lot of these videos and blogs, articles, whatever, marketed or targeted towards beginners, include things that, in my personal uneducated opinion, beginners have no business worrying about. Not everyone's guilty of this, but it's probably because beginners like myself are so unaware of what's important that we hear all these fancy terms and think, well, more advanced means better. More advanced means faster progress. More advanced puts me ahead of the curve. It means that I can skip all those painful lessons. But it means nothing of the sort. Everybody wants to find the perfect business model, build up some high valuation, and find their exit strategy. Live a digital nomad life in Bali or some whatever the dream is in 2023. But how many of us want to spend those years toiling in obscurity, learning the basics, learning how to actually make something, learning how to put a coherent video together and string together a series of thoughts that create a narrative people can resonate with? A lot of us want to run the marathon, but how many of us spend the majority of our time putting the miles in and only a little bit worrying about what's the proper brand of shoes for me? Now that sounds obvious. That sounds like a platitude. Well, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm reflecting on right now is that there's this inversion of priorities I notice in almost every field discussed on the internet, not just YouTube. Where if we take that pyramid, most of us approach the things we should be approaching first. We put first things last and last things first. That area of focus that would provide us with that final 2% of benefit and make us truly world class. Whether it's some piece of equipment, some minor technique change. That's where most of us will choose to spend our time. Instead of swallowing the bitter pill and saying, hey, I ain't good enough yet. I ain't strong enough yet. I ain't fast enough yet. I got to put miles down on the road. But those brick walls that are so difficult to clear as hurdles are meant to keep other people out. Success in most arenas wouldn't be possible if it came fast or if it came easy, because there'd be no barrier to entry. If everyone was a black belt, no one would be. But if it takes 10 years of hardship and getting humiliated multiple times a week, how many people are going to stick with it? The reason a lot of these things work is precisely because it's so hard to make them work. So I'm having this conversation with my friend about a master being nothing but a master of the basics. Michael said that to me once and it stuck with me ever since. And it occurs to me that branding, the marketing, the last 2% has come to so dominate our cultural conversation that what many of us are trying to do is put a price tag on an empty shelf. Create our exit strategy that's going to make us a millionaire before we have a product. Find a way to optimize our revenue streams before we've even made anything to sell in the first place. Well, I'm given to understand, I'm given to believe that in this game and every other, and in life in general, you can't put the cart before the horse, and you can't put a price tag on an empty shelf. I'll try to keep that in mind throughout this painful and embarrassing process. Thanks for watching.